is not our home. Let me let that hang in the atmosphere for a while. I said at this gathering of the masters, Africa is not your home, is not our home. Africa, as it is called today, is our throne. And from that throne, we ruled our home, which is 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth, and 76 quintillion miles throughout the distance of the diameter and the sphere of light of the diameter of the universe. We're called Asiatics, again, not because of a continent, because at one time the whole planet was called Asia.
Popcorn. 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 Education, misinformation, indoctrination to control the population. The situation is gonna take patience, determination, a lot of litigation. No picket lines, no more demonstrations. Reparations won't repair our nation. We already home, no repatriation. Back to Africa, that's not a destination. Through manipulation, documented fabrication to ensure their agenda. Secure their placement. Is he coming? Is there salvation? The story of creation. Who's God? Who's really Satan? Eager to know. Anticipation. We all play a role. Better man, the battle stations trying to empty out our soul, but this is mind liberation. Liberation. You said he died on the cross to wash all my sins away. You said that I pay the cost if I did not simulate. They think they found and not lost. Don't accept every word that they say. Population control. Every word that they say. It's exaggeration. Create panic. Cause separation. Pandemic, evacuation, full of shit, call them constipation. If you sick, don't take the vaccination. They suppress, not cure with medication. It's a trick, all they do is calculations. Act quick or assimilation. Interrogation, Guantanamo Bay. Concentration, camps, remote locations. Too much deliberation leads to our hesitation. While we waiting, sitting here debating, they plan eradication. Don't get it twisted, no mistaken. They make it seem like they for your emancipation. Plantations into corporations under occupation. Want you to pray, no meditation. To wash all my sins away. You said that I pay the cost if I did not sin.
Islam, and greetings, Mars. Welcome back to another episode of Pardon the Interjection. I am your host, Supreme L. I would love to give high honors, extremely high honors to your prophet, my prophet, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Here on Pardon the Interjection, we dig up information to divulge to the people in the upliftment of fallen humanity. And yes, we have fallen hard. Yet, in these days and times, we are waking up where we fell. And we're getting up out of the muck and filth and dirtiness that has been heaped upon us all this time. It's a beautiful time to be alive, Morris. And I say that with all love and honesty. We have a very special show today. Again, I bring you a brother with a lot of knowledge, a treasure trove of knowledge. Lately, we've been trying to get slowed down with this movement. Seems like people want to slow this movement down, or my channel particularly. But we're going to keep moving and keep bringing the information that we have to bring to you, as long as we can and as much as we can. See, when you're doing good, people watch you. And those that don't want you to do good, pray that you do not succeed. But as much as they pray to give up the no goodness for us, we have thousands of blessings raining down on us. This movement couldn't be slowed down, but it will not, cannot, won't be stopped. This is going to be our third installment of this portion of the show with our special guest, and we're going to get him on the line here shortly.
Good evening.
Greetings, Islam, peace, more. Hey, family, it's a blessing and an honor to bring to you for the third time and many more your good brother, my good brother, Toriano, ObaShango, L. How you doing, big bro?
Hey, I'm doing fine, brother. Peace and love, peace and blessings to you and yours and to everyone listening.
Indeed. Islam, more. And I was just before I brought you on, I was just saying that this movement will not be stopped. It can be slowed down, but it will not be stopped. And there's a lot of people that is praying for it to be stopped. But we're going to keep going on because, as I say, they tried to put me on a 2-week vacation again, young brother. But it's all good because we're going to keep bringing this information, regardless of who don't want it out.
That's true. That is true. True indeed.
Now, we can go into where we left off, unless you want to start and you know, bring something in particular that you may want to bring in. But I
think we can start where we left off, but I'd also like to cover genetics and working with precious metals as well.
Right, okay. Good.
Silver, gold,
and that's really Islam. That's really good because that's what we're gonna. That's actually where we left off at, was the gold and silver, and the question was, how is gold, silver, and the land true wealth?
Okay. All righty. Gold, silver has been, as well as copper as well,
right,
have been monetary commodities for thousands of years throughout various empires, whether the Manchurian, the Mongolian, Lydia, Rome, Carthage, Phoenicia, Tamaray, Kemet, and Gupta.
right,
The Esotecs, Aztecs, dealing with copper, and these metals have been mediums of exchange thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. And the thing about it is, when you're dealing with mediums of exchange, such as gold, silver, and copper, number one, it's a store of wealth. And the reason why it's a store of wealth, because there's only so much of it that is able to be mined, processed, and refined.
right,
It's not like fiat, where you can print fiat currencies into oblivion,
right,
to where the ratio of fiat and circulation as it relates to goods and services creates an inharmonic aspect in commerce. When fiat is in less circulation, the price of goods and services goes down.
right,
When it's heavier circulation, the prices of goods and services goes up.
right,
But with gold and silver, more so, and copper is secondary. These commodities have the ability to keep a relatively stable trade balance between goods and services and the medium of exchange being those metals. And not only that, it has an intrinsic value. The value is within the metal itself.
right,
So if you actually take a look at USDebtClock.org, show you the true value now of silver as related to the M2 money supply, which is based upon fiat currency. And an ounce of gold, its true value as it relates to the M2 money supply on the fiat currency as well. You will see that silver, an ounce of silver is actually worth 600 and something dollars measured by fiat.
Right.
That actually is true value. And gold is like maybe $4,000 or $5,000 measured against fiat, you know.
Wow.
So that's true value. But you can only imagine that what's going to happen once all fiat currencies collapse. There has never been a time in history where fiat was actually sustainable for, quite a long time. All fiat currencies and economies collapse.
Right.
So it's about anything. And this goes into the divine laws of the Most High creatures, creator of the heavens and earth. Look at Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 13 through 16. It says, do not keep diverse weights and measures in your house, but you should have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure, because diverse weights and measures, or which is a fiat currency.
Right.
It says diverse weights and measures is two sets of scales. In other words, give less when you owe more, and to get more, when you actually supposed to get less.
Right. Right.
And fiat currencies fall underneath that. It says these types of things are an abomination unto the Most High creator of the heavens and the earth.
Right.
So as you see, fiat currency in and of itself is against natural law. It's a violation of natural law.
Right.
Because it's going to get robbed. It's inevitable.
Right. Right. And pardon the interjection. That also falls under inflation and deflation, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And can you explain a little bit on that, since going a little bit on inflation and deflation?
Yes. Inflation is when there is so much fiat currency in circulation that it's not really worth anything, and therefore the prices of goods and services rise.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when there is less fiat in circulation, then the prices of goods and services fall.
Right.
That is inflation and deflation.
Right.
And when the economy finally tanks because of the fiat, then you see what is happening in Venezuela, what happened in Cyprus, what happened in Greece, what happened in Argentina some years back,
Mm-hmm.
because inevitably all fiat currencies collapse.
Right.
There's nothing backing it to sustain it.
Right.
So, the Federal Reserve knows this day is coming soon as well. So these measurements, gold and silver, as well as, copper, platinum, palladium, rhodium, these things, they are more so gold and silver. Gold and silver that stood the test of time in regards to a medium of exchange and a store of value.
Right.
Yeah. So, in regards to land, how land is true wealth is because the precious metals, as well as oil, coal, natural gas, timber, arable land, what they call farming land, arable land, these things is what wealth comes from. The land produces all wealth. So therefore, the wealth is in the land itself, based upon the natural resources above it and below it.
Right.
And
Now, when you say rent and tenants, most people would think that, okay, I live in an apartment, or I have a landlord and I have to pay my rent and I have to pay this and pay that.
Uh-huh.
When you are indigenous to this land and
Uh-huh.
you are Moors who are the true land owners, can you explain how that trading places becomes reversal?
Yes. Are you saying how did it get to where it is now, or how does it get to where it's supposed to be in its
Both.
correct
Both.
fashion? Would you clarify that?
I'm glad you asked that. Both.
Okay. How it got to where it is now is because, number one, like we said in the last show, uh, the land was set up in an inheritance, and there are two forms of inheritance for this land.
Right.
You have what's called the Paleo-American autochthonous aborigine under use sanguinis. In other words, the oldest blood lineages of the land.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have what they call the Age of Empires underneath international law. The landmarks, such as the Born Stone, the Pontotoc Stele, Davenport Stele, the various markings of the Phoenician, Canaanite, Phoenician, Carthaginian, Punic, Iberian Empire, and the most formidable one being the Born Stone in Comassacuncana, Chillicothe Bay, Massachusetts, which actually acts as a claim under adversarial possession. And that's where Carthage came in under Hannibal the Navigator, Hannibal's great-grandfather, and claimed the land, open, notorious claim saying, this is mine.
Mm-hmm.
A proclamation of annexation. Do not deface. With this, Hanno takes possession. And during an annexation of north to south, Alaska down to Chile, to the Iberian Peninsula, or Carthaginian Empire of the East. So, that is protected underneath, once again, the ecclesiastical law and the verses of the Bible, that I've given you in the last segment of the show.
Right.
And also underneath the Vatican, because the Vatican draws its papal bulls or canon law from the Bible. So it knows, Vatican knows whose land this actually is.
Right.
So the land in and of itself is set up as a trust, and it is set up for specific beneficiaries. Now, and that's on both ends, you sanguinis and you soli. Now, though you may carry the blood, you sanguinis, the oldest lineages of the land coming out of matrilineal haplogroup L, L0 and L1 through 6, coming out of those lineages, L1, L2, L3, for hundreds of thousands of years. And also haplogroup BT, and the predecessor of BT, which we're looking at, hundreds of thousands of years.
Right.
When you have a blood birthright inheritance, but you go up underneath the establishment of a legal fiction, something that actually has no basis in natural law, because natural law only deals with truth,
Right.
fact.
Right.
In regards to nature, the laws of nature are factual. These are things that you can see interplay around you, and within your life. When you operate outside of the laws of nature, then what happens is you forfeit your birthright claim. And that is being placed up underneath a legal fiction such as state of California, state of Georgia, state of New Jersey, the District of Columbia, state of Ohio, and fiction created by man.
Right.
And for those who want to say, well, white is the legal status, excuse me, go back to Bacon's Rebellion, I think 1679 to 1681, you will find that black and white were parliamentary creations by England in 1691.
Right.
So a lot of people need to get their facts straight in regards to that. Black and white were statuses that was created by England in 1691 due to the effect that Bacon's Rebellion had, because it was both Moors, European Moors that had come over here, also Irish and Scottish that were about to burn the colonies to the ground because of how they were being treated by the governors of the colonies and the various lords of the land.
And
within the colony,
and
they were about to burn it to the ground.
And pardon the interjection. Now, when you say lords or quote unquote governors of the colonists, who were they?
These were various people that were put in place by the crown, the crown of England. As far as who they were, names and whatnot, that I don't know.
No. Were they like were they Moors?
That I couldn't tell you whether they were Europeans or Moors.
Okay.
That I don't know. I'm
Okay.
speaking specifically from the position.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about their phenotypes or anything like that. I'm speaking specifically from the position, the political position they held over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would bring me to that. Because I would ask, since you said that black and white is a caste, what does because a lot of people do get it kind of twisted, like the meaning free white person.
Well, free white person is a legal definition. That is not the same as white.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Oh, fully understand.
Yeah. Free white person is listed as it is in Black's Law Dictionary. Free white person.
Right.
Yeah. White is white. What is defined as? But the point I'm making is these were parliamentary creations instituted first in England, then placed upon the colonies in 1691. And a good resource tool that you can learn about this is Theodore Allen. He's passed on now, but he's a Caucasian, and he came out with The Invention of the White Race, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And he tells you it was a creation. He tells you. And he said, my nationality is English American. I'm not white.
Right.
This is what he said. So he understood nationality.
Right.
And the thing about it is, going back to how it got to this situation in regards to the land, is because in 1933, they started placing the Paleo-American Aborigine and also the inheritors and possessors of the Al-Moroccan Empire underneath secure transaction, which was the birth certificate with the state of whichever one of these legal fiction American Maritime Corporation you were incarnated in.
Right.
And you basically became a revenue generating commodity with legal fiction classification with all rights, interests, and title to your ability to produce unlimited energy turned over to corporate United States and the corporate state of subsidiary or franchise in which you had incarnated in.
Right.
So therefore, you had no right to anything, nothing whatsoever.
Right.
And that is how it got, to this situation, because you were not operating within the blood lineage of your Paleo-American Aborigine mothers and fathers, as well as your imperial mothers and fathers of the Canaanite, Phoenician, Carthaginian Punic Iberian Empire and the present-day Moroccan Empire due to the landmark. So now, when you stepped outside of the laws pertaining to blood and the laws pertaining to soil, you sanguinus and you solid. Well, the landmarks, the Bornstone, the Davenport Stele, Pontotoc Stele, none of these landmarks in that land claim no longer applies to you.
Right.
Because you're not coming in the name of your forefathers and your foremothers. You are outside of trust. You're not in the family trust anymore.
Right.
You're not in the trust that the Most High Creator of the heavens and earth had established for you in accordance with Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 28. Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the land, air, water, law, which I brought that up about 5-6 years ago, and all things that dwelleth therein. You're no longer operating within that trust that was established for you under natural law, as well as the imperial trust that was set up for you by Hanno and the empire. So none of that pertains to you. So the land then falls into what's called escheatment. Escheatment is where there is no living heirs apparent, and therefore is claimed by the state.
Right. Right.
And that's how we fell into this situation.
Right.
Now, how do we get back to this, to the proper situation that we're supposed to be in? We have to stand up and proclaim who you are in regards to the soil and in regards to the bloodline.
Right.
And that's the reason why I'm a proponent for DNA. I know a lot of Moors, talk foolishly about us because they have no working knowledge of it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they sound ignorant when you speak about things that you have not gone in depth about, that you don't know about.
True.
That's the reason why I'm a proponent, because underneath the corporate, the Admiralty Maritime military democracy policy, they consider DNA as ironclad. There's the rules of evidence 702, and they have several case laws supporting it. So once you come back into accordance with what is rightfully awarded and afforded you by blood, there's nothing else to say. Because a maximum law says no man or no one can at the same time be landlord and tenant of the same tenement.
Right. That's right.
So there's only one landlord. And in regards to us, we're it.
That's right.
Underneath you sanguinus as well as you solely. Caucasian Europeans have absolutely nothing to do with that Bornstone or the Carthaginian Empire. They do not come out of those bloodlines unless they have been admixed. That is it.
Right.
It has absolutely nothing to do with them. And if they are admixed and they carry those signatures, whether Paleo-American Aborigine or the Empire signature,
Right.
then they are Moors. They are Moors. But before you can claim that, like I always say, money on the wood makes you that good. We need to see that blood.
There you go.
Yeah, we need to see that blood.
Islam.
Yeah.
Islam.
Yeah, there's not going to be any $5 claimants anymore. We already gone through that with the dog rolls. We're not having any more $5 claimants.
Right. Right.
So that's how you correct it and turn it around.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. And with that, I want to also say, it seems like we've been how should I say, 12,000 year slave, or how you would just say, going back to the 12 years of slave, meaning that he knew he was free, but then somehow he became a slave, or universal forgetting. Like, we forgot who we are. And I just want to, let that be known for the record that we are a nation. We are a nation of people, because there is no such people called black people or Negroes or even African American for that matter.
That is correct. There's a book that was printed in 1854, and I think it's called the National Immigration Conference, and it pertains to quote-unquote what they call Negroes. Well, on page 56 or 57 of that book, or 55 or 56, somewhere in there, it tells you that, and this book was printed in 1854, that we were already over here, and that we are the, what they call, and they said in numerous, massive numbers from Central America, to the island.
Right.
And it said that, we are the Carthaginians, and they come over here. It says that in this book.
Right, right.
So, with that, of course, that's used solely under the empire, but with that in and of itself, there is no excuse for us to be walking around, we're sitting at the head of the table and we acting like the waiters, or we're the landlords acting like the butlers. No.
Right.
It's time for us to correct our status and come back into proper alignment with what has already been ordained in natural law, as well as international law, ecclesiastical law, and the laws pertaining to the empire.
Right.
So these landlords this day and time, you're living in an apartment, then you have a landlord because you want to have a landlord.
Right.
If you're renting a home, you have a landlord because you want to have a landlord. You don't want the responsibility of running what's properly yours. And you have that right if that's what you like. But you can be so much more, and that's what we have to convey to our people. But in order for us to be more than what we currently are, we have to get in accordance with law.
Right.
And once you challenge these people, it's easy because they cannot substantiate a presence over here, post-ante, ante 1492.
Right.
Everything is ex post facto 1492.
Right.
And what they have actually done with the BIA, and they think that they're slick, but I see it. The Bureau of Indian Affairs created these statutory quote-unquote Indians or statutory Native Americans, so that when the Paleo-American Aborigine stands up to make his rightful claim, that is their guard dog, that's their watchdog. They say, no, we're the first people of the land. No, you're not. No, you're not. Let's stop lying. Let's stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Right.
Their phenotype cannot be substantiated over here beyond 15,000 years old.
Right. Right.
And once again, who says that? Dr. Carlos Sierra Marquez, Dr. Nicholas Leon, Dr. Walter Neves, Dr. Nate Guidon, Alabama Senator Scott Beeson, Dr. David Imhotep, and various other people who already said that we're the oldest of the land. Why? Because the phenotype that is coming up out of the ground is unmistakably quote-unquote Negroid in its appearance. It is not brachycephalic as far as the skull casing. Flattened skull in the back or short skull, broader face. No. That was 15,000 years ago on down. Older than that, 12 to maybe 15,000 years ago. Other than that, the oldest coming out of the land looks like us. What they call quote-unquote sub-Saharan or Oceanian. And then in regards to the archaeological dig, the pygmy skulls probably dated about 40,000 years before present, or years ago. Wyatt Locko, 51,300 years before present. Not Wyatt Locko, but the copper site, 51,300 years ago before present. Wyatt Locko, 250,000 years before present. Texas Street site.
Right.
Texas Street site, you give me some water.
Right, no problem.
Texas Street site, 80,000 to 90,000 years ago before present. Calico, 200,000 years before present. Toca de Esperanza, 300,000 years before present. Tierra de genetically, but morphological, phenotype-wise, as well as the archaeological findings over here, and the DNA mutational rate within the haplogroups, both mtDNA and Y chromosome, that run parallel with many of these archaeological sites over here.
Right.
Long before the brachycephalic skull morphological phenotype of what they call the Mongoloid.
Mm-hmm.
Siberians, way older than them. So, it's just time for the people to stand up, and then you come back and it was properly yours.
Right.
So,
right.
once you do that, and you have made your claim, you've gone public records with it, then after that, you can come from private administrative procedure and carry it over into civil, supported by evidence. Well, evidence, then stacked on top of that is affidavit, and stacked on top of that is your claim.
There you go, and there you go. Now, pardon the interjection. I want to ask you now. We know, you and I, and most Moors who are in the know that we've been here for millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, civilization back then, as opposed to now that we're waking up, but back then when we were woke, can I ask you about, was there ever Atlantis? Was there ever a people of Lemuria? Was there ever people before then? And were they us?
Well, we have to go into, now what you're going into is esotericism.
Okay.
Esoterically, as far as the teaching, yes, Mu did exist. Culturally, yes, you will find stories amongst what they call the group of people known as the Polynesians, that yes, there was a land called Mu. In regard to Atlantis, you have evidence like the Bimini Road. You have evidence of pyramids that they found off the various coasts of the islands, Cuba being one of them. So we do know that there was a landmass there, quite possibly what they call Atlantis. Yes.
Okay.
But if you go into the esoteric teachings of Blavatsky, and she starts talking about the root races and what they call the secret doctrine, the first root race that spawned what they call man and woman, yes, it was us, or as she says it, they were black.
Okay.
Black.
Yeah, that's
and
what I mean.
And yeah, man, supposedly we came from Lemuria, and we spawned all these other creations.
Right. And I asked you that, pardon the interjection, I asked you that to say that is synonymous with the word Lemuria.
Yeah, Lemuria means, it's French for the land of the Moors. Le is the. Moor and Ia is the suffix, which means land of.
Right.
So Lemuria means the land of the Moors. That's what it means.
Right. And I'm glad I give you honors for saying that, brother, because a lot of us will not say that. A lot of us know that, but will not say that. But that's literally what it means, the land of the Moors. And when they say we are the mothers and fathers of civilization, that title alone says it right there.
And from what is being found, if you read the book, The Hidden History of the Human Race, by Michael Cremo and Richard L. Thompson, as well as The Secret Doctrine, you will find that man and woman have always been here, and it was in an anatomically modern human fashion, not archaic anatomical humans, but modern humans. In other words, how we look today.
Right.
We've always existed in this form and fashion for millions of years, and there were other subsets of men and women that would look like what you call your archaic humans, which would be like Homo heidelbergensis, and there was an intermixture as well, where the anatomically modern humans would mix with these various types of archaic men and women.
Right. And that even goes for what say you about Neanderthal?
Neanderthalensis,
Yes.
Homo neanderthalensis, contrary to popular belief, they say that this is where the European came from. Well, it found genetically that Homo neanderthalensis had variations within its population. You also had dark-skinned Neanderthals as well.
Right.
They were all pale skin and red hair. That is incorrect. Science has already proven that they had genetic variations within the skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
Some were dark, some were brown, some were pale skin with red hair.
Right.
It was just another form of archaic human.
And it's funny that you mentioned the brother Michael Cremo, and what's the other brother European brother name?
Richard Thompson.
And it's funny that you say that because we rep Drew Ali all day over here in these parts, and he said it himself that he will make the European tell the truth, and
That's right.
a lot of them are now waking and telling the truth. Like I just seen one that I want to give a shout out to, my sheik, my brother and park teacher, Cujo Aduel in Canaan Land, and he just put up and posted up a show about a brother. I think his name is Frank Joseph. Do you know anything about him?
Frank Joseph, yes, he was around in the 90s, and he was also teaching of our antiquity in the Americas, as well as coming from Lemuria as well. Yes, he's been around for a while. He runs he's affiliated with the Ancient American magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, he came down to the Washita. He came down to Washita proper, and he spoke at one of the Empress's gatherings. This was back in the 90s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of these Europeans have been telling the truth. You have to kind of question anybody that doesn't want to step out of the box, and I also question people whose history just happens to hover around the 1600s and 1500s. Like they can't go any further back than that.
Right.
And a lot of groups out there when I'm like, listen, if you know law, the Masters of Law tells you the principal part of everything is the beginning, the Masters of Law. So you have to go back as far as you can in regards to substantiating your claims. And other maxim of law, a couple other maxims of law dealing with that is he who is first in time is preferred in right. And then another one is where two rights concur, the more ancient shall be preferred.
Right.
So if you're just hovering around the last 500 years, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Wow. Craziness. Well, a lot of Moors are waking up, and I'm seeing that more and more. That like the prophet says, there's a lot of sleepy-headed Moors, but it's a lot of us waking up. And I'm loving that. And I know we got about 10 more minutes here for this segment, and this is going to be an ongoing thing now, because I got to get you back on here more, and it's a blessing, and it's always peaceful and pleasant to be enlightened by you, brother. And I do have one more question I want to share with you, because we were talking about the gold and silver and the fiat earlier. Do you know anything about the resolution, the 2847?
2847? No, I'm not familiar with.
I think that was the resolution to end the Federal Reserve note.
I'm not familiar with that. The thing about it is, I will say this. You have to see how, of course, it will make it through the so-called House, so-called Senate.
Okay.
You know, in regards to that. And not only that, you have to understand about that Federal Reserve note. That note is mafia backed. And what I mean by that, the Zarian Mafia has an interest in sustaining that note.
Right.
The reason being because it deals with debt slavery. It's peonage. It's a peonage note.
Right. Right.
The thing about it is, I will say this: what I do is I do bonds in gold and silver, and the reason why is because Secretary of the Treasury is the governor of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, and he's also a trustee over the United States and the 50 corporate state bankruptcy. So he's supposed to be offsetting the debt anyway.
Right.
Because every piece of commerce that circulates on your land, the more is a third party beneficiary to it. Every contract, arrangement, or agreement made, whether public or private, takes place upon the land due to non-compensation for the use of the land's raw materials, natural resources, things of that nature, flora and fauna. So the reason why I deal in gold and silver, and I deal with it at the federal level, because number one, the states are bankrupt. If you read Senate document number 43, 73rd Congress first session, it tells you the ultimate ownership of all property is in the state. Individual ownership is only by virtue, and that or amounting to what they call mere user status. The use must be in accordance with law and subordinate to the necessities of the state. So your rights to property were taken away by, the state. And the states are also conquered. Why? Because they circulate fiat within their borders. When Article 1, Section 10 tells you that you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
Title 1, Section 8, Clause 5 of the Constitution tells you that, it's only supposed to be coin.
Gold and silver coinage. That's right.
And it tells you underneath the Coinage Act of 1792 that gold and silver is the money of the United States.
That's
it doesn't
right.
say anything. And that's in Section 11 of the Coinage Act of 1792. U.S. statutes enlarged 1 Stat 246 through 251, Section 11. So you set yourself up in trust fashion, and you put bonds at the federal level to hold them to the obligation of you being able to settle in cold or what they call discharge the debt in what they call a quitted fashion, which means that it's been nullified because you have the right to operate in what they call a quid pro quo fashion, which is Latin for this, for that, which means that, look, since you can't pay me rent that you owe, then, and you stole my money, there's none in general circulation, gold or silver, which is mine because it came up out of my earth, my ground, my land, my
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to give you this instrument to settle and close this debt. That's how it's actually supposed to go. And you set that up with the state, and you set it up with, quote unquote, the trustees of the United States corporate state bankruptcies, which is the Secretary of the Treasury.
And you've
gold and silver, let me say this, gold and silver is the only thing that can actually stand right now as consideration for a contract, because Federal Reserve notes cannot even be lawful consideration because they have nothing backing them. They have no intrinsic value.
Right.
And a contract has to have consideration. It has to have lawful consideration.
That's
Any contract that is based on lawful consideration is an invalid contract.
That's right. That's right. And I have a contract law book on that. That is correct. It has to have something back in that. And I want to also say you have had success with this, and also dealing with that. You have had success, and me and you're going to talk more off the record about that. And I want to delve more into that, in the know of that, and to also say with the gold and coin, real quick, because we got about 8 minutes. And I still want to get you some shout outs before we cut the line. But what about the bank holiday, FDR, and the 1933 gold stealing?
Okay. Well, what had happened was they had already planned, the Federal Reserve as well as foolish Woodrow Wilson. He didn't know anything about banking. He just wanted to be quote-unquote president.
Right.
And the folks are the ones that put him in office. So what had happened was he had actually signed into law, to the best of my knowledge, the Federal Reserve Act. And from what I understand, it was rough legislated through. It did not even go through the complete House and the Senate. People were gone on vacation, to my understanding, for the Christmas, quote-unquote, European Christmas holiday.
That's right.
Well, 20 years later, they had gone bankrupt. And the reason being was because the gold was quietly, silver was quietly being siphoned out of the land by international speculators and monetary interests. So when they had looked up, and they had already planned to crash the note, and the people began to do what's called a run on the bank. They didn't have the gold and silver to cover all of those people. So that's the reason why the banker's holiday had come about. Shut down the bank, instituted the monetary policy underneath wartime military measures, and he tells you this in his first inaugural address of 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He tells you this. He's going to declare it the economic emergency, as a measurement of war. And he amended the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917 underneath the Bankers Emergency Bank Act of 1933, which is U.S. Statutes at Large 48-1. And he included, quote-unquote, U.S. citizens as enemies of the state.
Right.
And therefore, all monetary silver and gold transactions were supposed to run through him, and under executive order, he confiscated the gold. Now, what they don't tell you is, in 1934, he came back, and he did another executive order, he confiscated the silver.
Wow. Wow. And that's where JFK, John F. Kennedy, comes in later on and tried to reinstate the silver.
Yes, under executive order 11110, and he was going to say, okay, your Federal Reserve notes, now we're going to put back in United States Treasury notes, and if you want your silver back, you can just go to a bank and ask for silver instead of more fiat, and we will start returning the silver back to you, the people, so you can have at least some measurement of wealth. And a few months later, after he did that, he was killed, and Lyndon B. Johnson was instituted, and then he passed the Coinage Act of 1965, completely obliterating all silver out of commerce. So by the time 1971 had hit, your silver was gone. And the quarters, dimes, half dollars, and things of that nature. And then after that, Richard Nixon passed the Nixon shock of 71, where he closed the international gold redemption window for international obligations and instituted the petrodollar by talking to the so-called Arab lands and saying, hey, look, we'll give you military protection in exchange for making everyone who wants to purchase your oil go through the Federal Reserve note. And that's where you got, quote-unquote, your petrodollar from, which the Chinese yuan is about to destroy, because China just opened up a gold redemption market where they can buy the oil in the yuan, and the Arabs can hold those yuan and redeem it in gold at any time they'd like to within China.
Okay, well let's save that one. Let's save that one for part 4, because this is really good, more interesting, because that's something I didn't know, and is interesting to me. So we're gonna come back with a part 4 on that and continue this. Definitely continue this good movement and moving forward to getting our people back into the know, because the more you know, the more you can do. Now, you want to have any shout outs or how the people, brothers and sisters, can link up with you?
Yes, you can link up with me at ObaShango.com. That's O as in Oscar, B as in Bravo, A is in Alpha, S is in Sierra, H is in Hotel, A is in Alpha, N is in November, G is in Golf, O is in Oscar, E is in Echo, L is in Lima.com, ObaShango.com. And I'd like to give a shout out to Shia Consult under Clan Omeg Moors, which is my clan family, African Clan of Moors, which is in Tejas. The people that support me, in my studies and due diligence and what I've done and what I am currently doing to bring to the people. I'd like to give a shout out to you more for allowing me to speak on your platform. Canaan Land Moors as well, little brother Cujo Aquarel, also the Red Road East, which is brother Fierce Truth Seeker. traffic accidents in the Bronx and various other wars and more biases and the ancestors and the mothers and also the patriarchs, the fathers who given the path and whose shoulders we stand on as well. So
Islam to that. Yo, good brother, our good brother, my good brother, Toriano, ObaShango L. And now while you're here, I'd like to also give my first shout outs and utmost extreme honors to the mothers. Because as I always say, without the mothers, no man would exist. And giving honors to my prophet, your prophet, prophet of the people, Prophet Noble Joe Ali, because without him, I wouldn't be here having this talk with you now, my good brother. And of course, I got to give a loud yellow up top to my good brother, Cujo Adwell, Canaan Land Moors. I love all my Moors up top. They're a beautiful bunch. And I really love them. And they got some music coming out, so really check out the Canaan Land Moors music. Go on this page, and they got a lot of beautiful music that we also putting out there too. So I want to thank you, brother. I want to definitely thank you, brother, for coming on and giving us this information that we direly need. We need this information from you. So I'm looking forward to part 4. And with that being said, I want to thank all active Moors. All active Moors. I can't say you one individually, one by one, but I'm going to say all y'all active Moors. If you're active, you're attractive for me. So I just want to throw that out there. And I love you, Morris. So I want to also thank my co-host, my good brother. Thank you again for coming on. Can't wait to see part 4 and do part 4. Toriano,
thank you, brother.
ObaShango L. Thank you, good brother.
Thank you, brother. Peace and love. Ashe.
Peace, more. Again, I want to give all honors to my prophet, your prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and again, all active Moors. Thank you, and I want to give another shout out to my brother, co-host, ObaShango, Toriano, ObaShango L. Thank you, my good brother. Can't wait to do it again. And with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of Pardon the Interjection. I am your host, Supreme L. As I always say, don't believe me. Go, check it out for yourself, and you'll be amazed at the jewels you'll find on your treasure hunt, Moors. Until next time, family, stay safe. With that being said, Islam, love, and peace forever, Moors.